Blue Beetle, a DC film that came out today. Well, I saw it yesterday with my mom, and I saw it with my brother. Surprisingly, my brother actually liked it a lot more than The Flash, and I thought it was pretty good. Blue Beetle has one of the actors from Cobra Kai. I've only seen a handful of episodes, meaning like a few, but it has Susan Sarandon in it, which she plays a mean character. I mean, a heartless character. And then we have this other character that's basically Iron Man 2's knockoff villain. Forgettable, but he has a backstory at the end, and it's a little too late to even care about his backstory, honestly. But as far as the action goes, it had great action, pretty good humor. Most of the visual effects were good, except for maybe the third act. There was some of the effects were off, and towards the end, the off-brand Iron Man villain turned into Dark Samus AI generated. But overall, I would say it's a fun film. The Scarab chose him to have the power, and he can't control it. And a lot of the elements feel like Spider-Man, and some of it feels like some other movie. I'm trying to remember another superhero movie. It's definitely a lighter tone. I do like the family thing, and sadly, George Lopez is not that annoying. Like, he's not the worst character in the film. I think the sister was one of the weakest characters, and the mom, and then the dad. But I like the grandma. The grandma was cool. I knew I seen her before. She was from Drag Me to Hell. I was like, I knew I saw that lady before. But the love interest was fine. It was one of the weaker things. I feel like this movie lacks focused on some things. It got sloppy towards the end, but I really like the gadgets and the costume for Blue Beetle. It straight up looks like the one from Injustice. I don't really know that much about Blue Beetle, but I know that wasn't the first Blue Beetle. And there are two post-credit scenes. The first one's more important than the second one. The second one is skippable because it's really not that important. Like I said, I think the visual effects were better than The Flash somehow. I think because the cast wasn't as big, I guess. I think that was what it was. But overall, Blue Beetle was a 7.5 out of 10. I wouldn't say it was amazing, but it wasn't bad. And sadly, it's probably going to flop because the DC films aren't really doing that great at the box office at all, which is sad because The Flash had issues. I liked it though. Flopped. Shazam 2 wasn't as good as the first one. Flopped. Wonder Woman 84, I liked it, and it had a ton of issues. Flopped. The Suicide Squad, way better than the first one. Basically flopped, but it had a positive rating. Most of those have more positive ratings except for Wonder Woman 84. But and Black Adam, that flopped too. I like it, but it had issues, green screen, special effects issues, but it's a popcorn flick. I mean, like, even some of the Marvel movies sadly have declined over after Endgame, but I'm still gonna watch all these superhero movies because I really love superhero movies. I couldn't miss out on, even though I don't really know much about Blue Beetle. I like DC. I like how it's a Spanish superhero because we don't really get those. I can't think of one Hispanic superhero movie that we've gotten. And it also, I feel like Robert Rodriguez would have had a lot of fun directing it if it was him directing it, but I'm just glad that they got, some, new faces, I didn't really care for the sister, but, the main guy does a pretty good job. Overall, it's a decent movie.